Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another meal prep / batch cooking video. I hope you guys are all safe and staying healthy out there. I feel like in this time of uncertainty and this time of high stress, I think it's still important to meal prep. I think it's still important to remember how important it is to take care of ourselves. We can't control everything that's going on out there right now, but we sure as heck can control how we are treating our bodies and what we are putting into our bodies. So don't forget that, you guys. Still remember to take care of yourself. But let's jump into this meal prep and let's see what we're cooking today. All right, y'all, so I'm going to start out with bacon. I like this Kirkland bacon that I get at Costco. It's super affordable and it's delicious. Anytime I am going to be baking bacon or boiled eggs, I like to start out with that, but I just line a pan with foil and then I fold the bacon in half so that way it all fits on there. And then I like to cook mine in the oven because in my opinion, it does an amazing job and it's less cleanup. I cook it at 400 degrees. That's what it looks like when it comes out. Obviously, you can cook yours to whatever crispiness you guys desire, because I feel like everybody has their own crispiness that they like in their bacon. Next up, I'm going to be making some eggs with some chorizo. Chorizo is like a Mexican sausage. I've had plenty of people ask me exactly what that is. It is delicious. It can be pretty spicy, so if you're not big on spicy, then be careful what kind you get, but I get that kind at Sprouts. This kind is not really that spicy at all. I just cook it up until it is done in a pan before I add my eggs, and it has some nice fats in there and it gives the eggs some delicious flavor as well. I don't drain it or anything. I just add the eggs right into the chorizo just like that. I add anywhere from 10, probably more like 8 to 12 eggs, depending on how many I'm wanting to feed. I think I added in like 10 this last time. I just scramble that all together. You don't need to add any seasonings with this because the chorizo has such big flavor that you don't need anything with it. You can add stuff if you want, but you really don't need it. That's what it looks like when it's done. It's delicious, protein, fats, it's all in there. Next up, again, we are going to be making just some ground beef. I'm just prepping some regular ground beef. All I'm going to do as far as seasonings is salt and pepper. That way we can create whatever we want with the ground beef later. My kids are obsessed with taco salads right now, so that is why I prepare so much ground beef here lately. And then we can just add in some taco seasonings later, or, kind of whatever you want to do with it. So that's kind of a little tip. If you want to create different meals during the week, just use salt and pepper and then you can make whatever you want with it. Next up, I'm going to be making some zucchini in the air fryer. These are some huge mambo jumbo zucchinis. I think they put them on steroids or something, but they are massive. I just sliced them up, left them in big rings, and I am going to end up putting in there some salt, pepper, avocado oil, and just mixing all of that together. And as you can see, those 3 zucchinis, that is actually gray squash, I think it's actually called, not even zucchini. So I don't even think I'm saying it right. But anyway, I added in there some avocado oil, pepper, salt. I just mixed that up with my hands and made sure that it was nice and coated on every single piece. And then I did layer the air fryer with the squash, and I put the air fryer on 400 degrees, and I wasn't for sure exactly how long I needed to cook it, so I started cooking it at 5 minutes. And that wasn't quite enough. So as you see, I opened it and then I put it back in, and I restarted the air fryer and I put it back in for a couple more minutes. And then they came out perfect. So the rest of them I just put in there for 7 minutes. I didn't worry about flipping them or anything. They turned out delicious. Oh my goodness, that air fryer. I'm in love, y'all. That thing is the best thing I purchased this last year. I don't think I've made one thing in the air fryer that I did not like, to be honest with you. If y'all don't have one, Black Friday is the best day to get one. Next up, I'm going to be making some loaded cauliflower with hot dogs in it. Those are the Teton hot dogs that I get at Costco. Clean ingredients, grass-fed, delicious. And I just take two things of cauliflower that I, again, get at Costco as well. I do microwave those. They are in microwavable bags. Then I took those Teton hot dogs. I just sliced them up into small bite-sized pieces. And I dumped both bags of zucchini in there as well as the hot dog. I put about 1.5 cups of cheese, probably around 1/2 cup of heavy whipping cream, around a tablespoon of garlic, a little bit of Himalayan salt. I also added in there some black pepper, around, I don't know, 1/2 teaspoon. And I did end up adding in a little bit of nutmeg, probably around 1/4 teaspoon, and the flavor was delicious. And then I wasn't going to add this, but I did go ahead and add probably around 3 ounces of cream cheese because I felt like it needed something else. And then I also added just another small handful of cheese. Yes, we are big cheese lovers in this house. I know, probably too much cheese, but everything's better with cheese. Sorry. So I just put it all in that is an 8x8 baking dish. I did grease the baking dish with some avocado oil. I like to make sure that my casseroles are spread out. And then I did toss just a hair bit more of cheese on top of that. Again, preheated my oven to 400 degrees. And then I just baked that until it was nice and bubbly and the cheese was a little bit browned on the top. And I'm telling you, this was delicious. A total game changer from your plain Jane loaded cauliflower rice. Add in some of those clean hot dogs and it is a great meal. Next up, we are going to be making garlic knots. This is a brand new recipe. This recipe will be in the description box below. Those are all the ingredients that you are going to need for this recipe. I'm telling you, you guys, this was delicious. It's amazing the things that you can do with fathead dough. So we added into that bowl 1.5 cups of mozzarella cheese, as well as 4 tablespoons of cream cheese. Then I also added in there 3/4 cup of almond flour, as well as 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons of oregano, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and then around 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Honestly, I added all of this together. I kind of shook it a little bit, as you see, and then we microwaved it in the microwave. That's kind of a game changer, you guys. That worked amazingly well. That's actually how the dough turned out. I'm very impressed, to be honest with you. I might start making all of my fathead dough like that instead of microwaving the cheese first. But after it was cooled enough to where it wouldn't cook the egg, I did go ahead and add the egg, and then I went in with my hands and I just kind of mixed that up rather well. And then as you see, I'm just kind of turning that dough into a ball because this is going to make 8 servings. So I find that the easiest way to make or create 8 portions of this dough, you cut it in half and then cut those halves in half, and then what you want to do is go back in and cut those again one more time. So basically you're creating kind of, I guess, 8 little triangles. And then to make the knots, what you want to do is you just want to kind of take that dough and roll it in your hands. Make one long, skinny noodle out of the dough, and I just did that with all the little pieces. My daughter, of course, jumped in, and like I always say, she's an amazing kid. She loves to help in the kitchen, and she wanted to make the knots, and she did an amazing job. So we just made them kind of look like little pretzels, just like that. Simple, easy peasy. And then we laid them on parchment paper on a little cookie sheet, preheated the oven to 375 degrees. And those took around 15 minutes in the oven to cook. While that cooked, we just took some butter as well as some garlic, melted that in the microwave, and that is going to be what we are going to put over the top of these garlic knots. And that is what they look like when they came out, just golden brown. And then what you're gonna do is you're just going to basically brush on that melted butter and garlic on every single one of them. Then once we spread the garlic butter mixture on, we went in with the Parmesan. And you want to put your oven on broil. So put your oven on broil, you put them back in. It literally only takes a couple of minutes because if you leave them in for too long, they might burn. But if you guys haven't tried these, I highly recommend these. My non-keto family highly recommends these. My son's best friend tried these and he said that they were amazing, and he's not keto either. Next up, we are going to be making ribeye steak in the air fryer. Oh my golly, so good. Again, the air fryer. We're just going to be throwing on there some sea salt and some pepper, keeping the seasoning simple. And again, the air fryer does an amazing job for steaks. So again, I put the degrees on 400, and then the time, I put the time at about 6 minutes. The key to having a great steak, especially in meal prep, is not cooking them too long, leaving them pretty red in the middle, maybe a little more red than what you would even want, because then when you go to reheat them, they are still going to be just as moist and just as delicious, and you can reheat them in the air fryer. That's what they look like when they were done, and oh my gosh, again, can't talk highly enough about those steaks. Delicious. Next up, we are going to be making some chicken Alfredo. So good. So that is chicken legs, boneless, skinless chicken legs. So that chicken is the chicken that I got at the ranch market. That chicken did have a lot of things that I really needed to cut out, but you know what? It was still delicious. I just threw them in a pan with a little bit of avocado oil on the bottom. And then while that chicken cooked, I went ahead and prepared the Alfredo sauce. Those are the ingredients that you are going to need for that. And this, in my opinion, is delicious. This is probably my favorite Alfredo sauce that I've made. But the first thing you're going to start out with 1 cup of heavy whipping cream, as well as 3 ounces of cream cheese, 2 ounces of Parmesan cheese, 2 tablespoons of butter, a pinch of, it says white pepper. I used regular pepper because I did not have that. And then another thing it said was nutmeg. I ended up going in with mesquite just to give it a little bit of a different flavor, salt to taste, and then I did go in with 1 large egg yolk. Don't use the white, only use the yolk. You can always save the white and put it in with like scrambled eggs or something later. But that is everything that it is going to need. Whisk that puppy up, and oh my goodness, you have one delicious, way healthier Alfredo sauce than any jar Alfredo sauce you're gonna buy out there. All clean ingredients because you know exactly what's going into it. The chicken there was almost done. And then as far as the chicken, I did go ahead and just salt and pepper the chicken. And that is all the seasonings that I put into the chicken. That was it. Some of that chicken we used with the Alfredo sauce, and then some of my family don't really care for Alfredo sauce a ton, so they ended up just eating the chicken by itself. Next up, I'm preparing a spaghetti squash because we are going to put the Alfredo chicken on top of this. You want to cut it in half, clean out all the seeds. Then I'm using my Instant Pot. The only thing you have to do is add 1 cup of water, make sure your Instant Pot's on sealing, and then I put mine on manual, and I put it in there for around 16 minutes, and then when it's done, I do a quick release and then open it up, so that way it doesn't overcook normally. This time I actually got distracted with other things, so it was actually a little more done than what I actually like, but either way it was still delicious. And if you don't use all of that with the chicken Alfredo mixture, then you can just add butter to that, salt and pepper, and it's delicious. All right, y'all, so that concludes this week's meal prep. If you are loving these types of videos, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up so that way I know that you enjoyed this video. Also, don't forget to leave a comment down below or follow me on Instagram. I'll have that link in the description box below. And let me know what you're meal prepping. Let me know if you tried any of these recipes. Let me know what you think of them, if you did. And don't forget, if you're not part of the Simply Misty family, go ahead and smash that subscribe button because I would love to have you as part of my YouTube family. Again, stay safe out there, stay healthy. I am praying for you, your family, and your country. Thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate every single one of you guys. And don't forget to go out there and make today even better than yesterday. And I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye.
On my own, but I don't know why you hit the road, but you don't realize I won't look back when you're around. I won't think twice when